Well, I'm whooped from yesterday. I mean, because we were in Chicago over the weekend, so I'm whooped from that too. Just like walking around, like
You got to see Paige. I know Valerie's
yeah.
like, Paige is with Scott.
I
I'm
know.
like,
I was gonna text you. I was like, and I asked her like, have you told like your mom or Mike yet that we're gonna hang out and do this thing? She's like, no, I haven't. Like, sweet. I'm just gonna post it on social media and not even tell them.
and I wasn't paying close attention. I was like, oh, they're all together because I saw you and 5 of my friends. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Getting
we went Friday night. I mean, it's like a 3-hour drive. It's not bad for us. So like, yeah, let's just go for the day. And then I was like, maybe we should ask Paige what she's doing.
Yeah, I don't think she was doing much because they had a in town, I think. A couple of
well, she did on Friday night. She was doing something, and then I was like, "Hey, we're gonna go do this Museum of Ice Cream thing because we saw it in New York City. We were gonna do it in New York, but it never happened. So, well, there's one in Chicago, so let's ask Paige if she wants to do it, and it worked out. So,
yeah, thanks for doing that. The way she got to do something, I saw that was awesome.
Yeah, I think she had a blast though. Like, I should send you some of the photos I have. Like, we had made sure we took a selfie in every room with our ice cream. And
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad she got to do something with you guys because we missed her. But
we jokingly said it was like a perfect thing for you because it was ice cream.
Yeah,
and it was like it was almost like a selfie thing because they had like all these like pop like colored pop like selfie walls. Like I had a Chicago
thing was cool looking like with this.
I had Chicago style ice cream. So it was like a hot dog ice cream basically. It was disgusting, but like no one else wanted to do it. Like Paige, Liz, Emily. So I did it. So it was like a Chicago hot dog bun with hot dog flavored ice cream, and then they put mustard all over it.
Oh, I'd try it, but man, that sounds gross.
I ate the whole thing, Mike. I ate the whole thing.
Oh man, that does not sound good. I just go to Portillo's and get a hot dog, or just go all those carts. You know, all those carts are downtown.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. I'm glad you guys have fun. Oh, all right. So let's get ready to go. Hello, everybody. Happy Easter to Fulton and Katie.
Then we went down the sprinkles pool. I'll send you some photos. You'll crack up.
I saw that like pit or whatever you guys were in. That was like perfect pictures.
I had a cold fashioned.
Yeah, I saw that too. I told myself I was gonna make an old fashioned tonight, and I was gonna make one before the show.
Oh man, I would have made one.
I thought about it. I'll probably make one maybe after the show.
Yeah, I think I had like 5 scoops of ice cream, and they give you like a Dove ice cream bar as you walk in. Like it was so much.
I love some ice cream. I go there. I gotta tell Paige. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about Herschel being in the hospital, Margie. Hope he gets better. Happy Easter to Oswald 13. All right. We will get going on this. If we don't have a lot of folks tuned in, we might cut this a little short, but we'll hang as long as you guys are here. So, got a few things to talk about. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this all works.
We're just talking about some cruising. If we,
I know.
Podcast cruising.
Yeah, that's true. All right, here we go. Oh, Chris had 2 old fashions today. I've had 0, but I might have one later. All right, here we go. Well, hey, everybody! Welcome to. Oh, now wait, what's that? The volume was off earlier. It was like super loud, and now it's super quiet. Fix that before we get going. Let's try that again. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the BOGP Open Line for Sunday night, Easter Sunday night, April 9th, 2023. My name is Mike Rollman, host of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You can find me at beourguestpodcast.com. And we're going to be taking your calls live here for the next hour during the BOGP Open Line. And to do that, your friend and mine joining me for the BOGP Open Line, as we do on Sunday nights, freshly returned from the Links up in Michigan, your friend of mine, Scotty G. What's up, Scott? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Mike. Yeah, happy to be here again, as always. Pretty action-packed weekend. I haven't really slowed down at all. I played golf, drove to Chicago, hung out with a family member of yours, got to hang out with Paige.
Hey, I got to say, we didn't get to see Paige this weekend, but you did. So she got to go with the second family.
Yeah, exactly. We had fun at the Museum of Ice Cream. If you're in the area, you should try one of these out. Now they're pretty darn expensive for what it is. I will say that because it's just ice cream, but it's cool. There's like a lot of selfie walls. You do learn some things. It was kind of chaotic, like a lot of like bachelorette and like birthday parties are happening at these things. But they're in New York City. There's one in Chicago. There's one in Austin, and there's one that was just opened by Pam's neck of the woods in Pittsburgh. So if you're in any of those areas, check out the Museum of Ice Cream. It's pretty fun.
And before we started recording here, you were telling me that you did have a Chicago style ice cream that came complete with mustard dragged through the garden, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. So it was really weird. You had each room like had like a theme of like a different ice cream. And we're in one room where you played miniature golf, actually. So you're playing miniature golf in this, and they had this big mustard bottle and this hot dog obstacle that you had to hit the golf ball around. But there was two options of ice cream you can have in there. You can have like a pineapple, which was kind of like a Dole Whip type flavor. Or you could do the Chicago dog ice cream, which is like on that famous like Chicago bun style. And they put some soft serve hot dog flavored ice cream on it. They had mustard and relish, like real mustard and relish. At first, I thought it was gonna be like a custard. No, it was real mustard. Okay. I don't do relish, but I said you might as well I might as well be all in at this point.
Well, so I mean, like they say, when in Rome.
Yeah, put some mustard on it. Elizabeth took some photos of me chronologically like eating the hot dog as my face, makes interesting reactions to that first bite. But I ate the whole thing, Mike, and I was ready to wash it down with, you guessed it, more ice cream afterwards.
I thought you were gonna say a cold fashioned.
I did have a cold fashioned. That's the thing. They had a bar in there where you can even get like shakes and sundaes and all that. Which I didn't understand. Like you just had all this ice cream. Like, why are you gonna want to like buy more ice cream? Yeah. But I did get the cold fashioned though, because you know me.
Oh man. And Christopher in the live chat says that sounds terrible. I'm with you. I'm a big fan of the Chicago style dog. I'm not a fan of the Chicago Cubs, but I am a fan of the Chicago dog. Portillo's, that's what I always get. But that does sound terrible.
I'll post a photo of me eating it on Instagram after the show tonight. But it was cool. There was one room, it was like a carnival theme where like, like the games that we love at like Dinoland, even like where you have like the water and you got to shoot it like in the target. Yeah. You could just play that unlimited amount of times. They had like the whack-a-mole game, except it was whack ice cream. And then they actually had some history. There was like this section where you could learn where flavors were from. We came across this interesting flavor that was created in your state of Missouri. It was like Columbus, Missouri, I think might have been the city, not Columbia, but it was like Columbus, Missouri.
Don't know Columbia.
But it's like dirt ice cream. There's actual like dirt in the ice cream. And I thought I took a photo. I was going to send it to you. Like, oh, so this is what your ice cream is known for, Mike. Dirt.
Okay. I'm proud of that. Yeah, there we go. Missouri dirt ice cream. Perfect. That's going to be on the next promotional videos for the country to come visit us for some dirt ice cream. Like it. No. Anyway, so, and also Wade up in Nebraska, you got to go to Luminetti's. I believe that's how it's pronounced, because I follow them on social because I'm a fan of Gino's East. And they always get on me because I mentioned Gino's East because I've never been there yet, but I'm going to go there next time. Okay. I know it's in the Chicago show. We're going to talk Disney here in just like 30 seconds, but big fan of that. Great.
Yeah. Pizza. So Gino's East is my go-to. I even called Wade when I was there. I was like, I don't think Gino's East is your jam. And I thought it was Lou's. And he's like, oh yeah, Lou's is my place. I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it. Sorry, Gino's. I'm going to go to a different spot this time. It was actually really close to our hotel. We like to stay at the Lowe's Hotel, which is known for like Universal Resorts. So we go there and like, it's an hour and 45-minute wait. But I mean, Chicago, we're going to walk around, do some stuff, but it was cool. Like you could order your pie ahead of time though. So like,
because the Chicago pizzas take like a month to cook.
Exactly. Basically. Yeah. It's not even like a pizza to me. Like Chicago style is kind of weird. It's like a casserole dish, almost like it's just like obnoxious.
And you're in a coma.
Yeah. So we're like, all right, well, yeah, we'll put our order in. So we put our order in. We went to like Nordstrom's, went to Ulta, just like did some like shopping around there, and then went back. And then our table was ready, and our pie didn't take much long to get delivered to the table. It worked out really good. So Lou's was good. It had a nice little buttery crust. I haven't had Gino's in a while, so I think I need to go back soon and have Gino's, and then I can really give that answer. But I was a fan of Lou's. It was solid.
Good deal. All right. Well, hey, let's jump into Disney. We have some news for you, and we're going to kick it off with some news from the Disney Cruise Line. And this is kind of interesting because Disney announced this just a couple of days ago. And again, we're going to open up the phone lines at 407-413-9395. You can call and share your thoughts on all the Disney news of the week. But Disney Cruise Line announced something called the Disney Band Plus that's coming to Disney Cruise Line vacations here for select sailings this summer. And we happen to have a select sailing July 3rd to the 7th, the Be Our Guest podcast cruise on the Disney Wish. And as you read about this, it was kind of interesting because I'm going from Ricky's story, which she gets all of her information from the press release. Later this summer, guests will be able to use this unique wearable technology found in Disney Band Plus for a hands-free experience when sailing on board the cruise ship. It's going to allow you to easily unlock their stateroom door, make charges in shops for things like sweet treats and souvenirs. It's also used in the Oceaneers Club and Lab for kids access, Scuttle's Cove at Castaway Key. And it's also for photos when you're purchasing photos, when you get your pictures taken. It's waterproof, rechargeable. And here's the kicker. It says that after your cruise, you can use this thing at Walt Disney World at the resorts and theme parks. Here's my question, and this is why I want to have this live show tonight to talk to you, because we have not talked about this yet, and I was saving it for this. What's the difference? Because I've seen the pictures. What's the difference between a Magic Band Plus and a Disney Band Plus? Because is it just the origin? Like the Disney Band Plus is a Magic Band that you get on the cruise ship? Because it sounds like exactly. Do you not think it's the exact same thing?
It feels the same exact way, Mike, especially if you can use it on land afterwards, unless it has to be like activated at sea or something. Like it has to be sea first. Like, but I don't know like how that would even work. So, but I will tell you that I'm excited about it. I love Magic Band. I'm a team Magic Band kind of guy. So, on our select sailing, I'm going to have to get one of these, like I got to have like Captain Mickey or whatever the design is going to be on my wrist. And I said this in our Facebook group. I made a comment on this. Like, it seems kind of silly because like my Key to the World card can do all those things on the ship, but there's something about just like wearing my technology I like better than having the key. So I'm definitely going to be all in on it.
And here's the other thing, because, okay, I've sailed Disney Cruise Line many, many times, as you have. And back in the day, now this is when Mallory was little, they used Magic Bands, the original Magic Bands for the kids in the kids clubs. And I mean, she got one. Like you had to pay like $5. It was a minimal charge when you checked your kid in the first day. And they got this cool little, it was branded Disney Cruise Line.
It was like a yellow cruise line. There might have been a blue one at one point too, I think.
Yeah, and it had like Sailor Mickey on it. It was super cool looking. And so we kept it as a souvenir at the end, right? Because we paid like $5. And if you didn't, you could return it for $5 back as a deposit, or you could keep it. So at the end of the sailing, I was like, it's cool looking. I'm a Disney fan. We kept it. I have no idea where it ended up, but like everything else. But the thing is, like I always said, a Disney Cruise Line vacation is a perfect use for a Magic Band, because think about it. Like you don't want to take your card out into Castaway Key into the ocean or something like that, but it'd be convenient to have it, to go up to the bar and get something to drink, at the Heads Up bar or something like that. I mean, I think we're trained at this point to use a Magic Band to charge everything, and it just.
What's irritating though, Mike, to your point,
yeah,
I think you still need to bring your Key to the World card when you get off the ship, though. Like if you go to Castaway Key, I think you still need your Key to the World card. So hopefully they'll test this and they'll see that the Magic Band works, and hopefully they can eliminate that, because I would love to that'd be one less thing to worry about, right? Because you got to like put it in a safe place, like in your beach bag or whatever. Instead, if you could just wear it, that would be awesome. But I think for those select sailings, you still need your Key to the World card when you get off the ship.
Yeah, I would say if it's in like beta testing, that probably that is the case. And that's true, because when you get off the ship, you are coming back and you're going through local governments kind of clearing you to go through that gate, where they have like an official checking your ID. Yep. Yeah, that could be an issue. But I mean, they could load up, because what's the difference between that little plastic card? You would still need your ID, right? Because you would
still need your ID for sure.
But, I mean, there's going to be really, what's the difference between that piece of plastic that's flat than, a piece of plastic you're wearing around your wrist? You're right. But for that intern, probably this summer, you probably need both because it's a testing period. That's a good point.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully that it goes well. And then, that would just make it so much nicer for those Castaway Key days. I feel like if I could just bring a Magic Band instead of my Key to the World card. I know it's a small little thing, and then maybe by then we'll know if your Walt Disney World bands work, then you don't necessarily have to buy a new one like every time, right? You don't have to get the specialized Disney Cruise Line one.
And that's what Katie's asking in the live chat. But I mean, with Disney, I would say if you're going to use it on the cruise line, I bet you they're going to make some way to make it where you have to buy that one on the ship. There's going to be some kind of maybe not.
I want interactive stuff though. Like I want to use it like on my door and have Mickey be like come on in, pal, or something. Like I don't know. They say something funny like that.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I agree. Well, like Derek says here in the live chat, he says, if it plays the Cantina band at the Hyperspace Lounge, I'm in. So am I.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And I didn't tell you this. So like we talked about this once, but we had like a great photo that we loved on our last little cruise we did over Memorial Weekend last year. It was like that last minute cruise we did. And I was like, you know what? I'm buying the photo package. We're just going to like go all in on taking photos. So that'll be great having the Magic Band. So I don't have to like dig out the key of the world card. I'll just have it on my wrist for when we take those photos.
Let me ask you about that. Because that is one of the questions I get at the Magic for Less really quite often. Because I have, my guests at the Magic for Less tend to be a lot different than a lot of our other agents because all my guests come from our podcast, and our podcast listeners are savvy Disney travelers. They're usually not first timers. Usually people have traveled to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, all these cruises many times. But a lot of folks are very comfortable with getting Memory Maker. So they're used to, okay, I know how to get, bajillion pictures at Walt Disney World. But then they come to the cruise line, and Memory Maker isn't an option on cruise line, but you can buy this unlimited photo package. But there's not what my question is, how did you feel the value was for that unlimited photo package with cruise line, especially for those folks that are sailing with us this summer? Like, is it something you would do again on a 4-night cruise? Would you just take your own pictures? Would you just buy a select few pictures? How would you rate that?
Well, I haven't done it yet. So this is for this upcoming cruise that I'm buying the package. But compared to other sailings, like every now and then, like, you're dressed up for a dinner or whatever, you see those 2 or 3 or 4 good shots that you really like, and they're like $20 to $30 each, So like when I was doing like our excursions or whatever, I think it was like, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you know it, Mike, I think it was like $150 for the sailing package. If you pre-purchased it, I think it's $30 more or something if you do it like once you're on the ship. And I was like, that's like 5 to 6 or 7 photos. And I'm sure we're going to take 5 or 6 or 7 really good photos. And it's going to encourage me to do more. Like when you're on Castaway Key, sometimes I'll just blow past them, like with the Mount Rushmore or whatever, Rustmore photo, like, but that's going to get me to like take it on this cruise. You know what I mean? I'm going to try to seek those out more, which I think we're going to get some great shots. And plus it's our first time on the Wish, so I just thought, let's just do it. Let's just get the photo package this time. But not something I would do every time, but this is kind of a special cruise, right? First time on the new ship. So
when you look at the overall price you're paying for the overall vacation, and plus, like you said, because now you're making me think about doing it for this cruise too, right? Because your daughter is getting older, right? She'll be going away to school before you know it. And there's only so many times you get dressed up. You're in a location like that. And a lot of times, like you said, before dinner, they have those kind of off to the corner professional backdrops or whatever. You can do a couple shots there. Some on the island, they come around to dinner, boom, right there. I mean, if you're going to buy a few, because I do always want to buy them, because I'm like, those are really good pictures, but it's that same thing. It's like, it's $22.
Yeah. It was when we did this Beauty and the Beast kind of like rose photo on the Dream. And I want to say it was like $20 or $25. I loved the photo, but it like killed me spending that much money for one photo. That's why I was like, you know what? To your point, like you're talking about Emily growing up, like, like we're just gonna want some family photos on this cruise. I feel like so. Like I'm just gonna fork over the money now, not even worry about it. Kind of think of it as like my Walt Disney World Memory Maker. Forget about the cost and just have fun taking photos.
That's a good call. I think I'm going to do the same. You sold me because
I'm a good salesman.
You are, but you can't go back. I mean, right? I mean, Mallory's all about dressing up, and I'll, be dressed up. I never dress up. I'll probably not have a hat on again. So who knows?
Yeah. So now I'm thinking about like maybe one night. I know it's not. There's not like what's the word I'm looking for?
A formal night.
Yeah, a formal night. Thank you. But doesn't mean you can't dress up one night.
We will, because I mean we got to look like princess.
Yeah. I mean, we might not get the tuxedos this time necessarily, but we'll still look good. Or maybe we will.
Might. You never know.
Or maybe we will.
We could. Okay, next story. The biggest story of the week, obviously, that almost broke the internet. That came out of nowhere all of a sudden. But again, you're welcome. We made it happen here on the Be Our Guest podcast. Annual pass sales return on April 20th. So Wade has been longing for this day, right? Do you think Wade's in the queue already, Scott? I'm just wondering, right?
I think so. I think, but he's gonna somehow it's gonna be Run Disney, and he's gonna get timed out the second it opens, and then he's gonna have to restart, and then they're not gonna kick off at the right time, and it's gonna take him like 16 hours. But he might get in though.
So, I mean, the thing is, I mean, obviously they're going to go on sale on April 20th. We don't know the exact time yet. That should come out here probably, I would assume, this week at some point. By the time this comes out on Thursday, we'll probably have more details on that. DVC members are going to get a jump, which I think is right. That you're a DVC member, I'm not. So you probably agree. You've just renewed your passes just like within the last week or so, right?
Yeah, I know. I did it like 5 days, I think, before they made the announcement. So I think it's the 13th for DVC. They have that option for the Sorcerer's Pass, which has some blockout dates. Those normally don't impact my family, so it works out really well for me because it is like a few $100s less than like the Incredible Pass or whatever it's called. So yeah, so DVC will have the first shot. Those DVC members have been longing for this moment, and they'll get their opportunity on the 13th.
So now, did you get the Incredipass or you get the Incredible?
So I did the Sorcerer one, which has like the week of Thanksgiving, and I think like the Christmas / New Year's week is blocked out, which stinks because I like to go around that time, like especially like around New Year's, which I might do this year if I decide to run a race over Marathon Weekend, which I very well might. Which that registration is coming up too, Mike.
I know that's what Katie's saying here in the chat, man. God bless everybody's credit cards.
Yeah. But so just having those 3 weeks, and like when you think about the savings of cost, it's pretty good value when you're DVC. I just wish we got like, I'm greedy. I wish I just got a free annual pass as a DVC member, but that's asking for a lot though. So.
It is, but holy cow. Oh, they're hugging. I guess that guy won. Yep, John Ron won. Okay, so there's 4 levels of annual passes you can get. Now, if you're an out-of-stater, you can only get 1 unless you're DVC. There's the Pixie Dust Pass at $399 plus tax, the Pirate Pass at $749 plus tax, the Sorcerer Pass that Scott was just mentioning, which DVC members can get the discount on at $969 each plus tax, and then the Incredipass, which is your standard annual pass. They get you in with no blackout dates. Now, none of these include the water parks or anything like that.
Or Memory Maker, right?
That's what I was going to say. Or Memory Maker, like they used to, at $1,399 plus tax. That is
how much?
$1,400. Cool. I know. That's true. So I'm glad I'm not.
Sorry, I just had to have you repeat that number. That was a lot. I think the first time I buy annual passes, that's how much it was for the 3 of us to get 3 of them.
Yeah, I want to say when I first bought them for our family, because I bought them for 4 of us, they were like $649 a piece or something like that. And I almost had a heart attack. So yeah, so those go on sale April 20th. And that leads me to another story. So that's April 20th, April 13th for DVC members. This Tuesday, registration Marathon Weekend 2024. So I will be honest, I'm already registered for Dopey. I registered through a charity about a month ago. So I'm in. I'm glad. And the reason I did this, because last year, this is how it happened. This is how it went down. I did not get in for Dopey last year. I tried and tried. I had 5 machines going. I had a phone, a tablet, 2 laptops, and my desktop that I'm doing the podcast on right now. I have all kinds of technology in front of me. Still didn't get in. I had 5 things telling me you have more than an hour. You have 42 minutes. You have, boom, it was gone. Thank God it was either you or Wade, Scott or Wade, one, because you guys have gotten me into various races because we all kind of work as teams. One of you guys got me in, and I thank you so much for that because I love Dopey. This year, I had to seek one of my guests at the Magic for Less told me about a charity they work with. I made the connection. I made a donation, and so I'm signed up. So I'm glad that I don't have to go through that. But I mean, again, it's just I wish there was something better than what we're going to have happen again on Tuesday, because I already know the howls that are going to happen on Tuesday afternoon. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be bad. And if you're watching the video, Mike, I have that weird delay again. So don't watch me to my voice because it's going to throw you off crazy. But yeah, so I was going to skip Marathon Weekend altogether. I made that little post on our Lizards page. Like, I'm taking a break. Like Princess was amazing. I got to run it with Emily. The races are getting kind of expensive. It's taking a lot of PTO away. Like they don't really feel like family vacations, which I know is why you kind of go down by yourself a lot. Mm-hmm. But, I somehow magically got into the Disneyland race, which is what I've been wanting so bad because I love the Disneyland races. So now that I got into that, I feel like I have to do a race over Marathon Weekend so I can get the special like coast to coast medal. So I will be one of those that will be in pain, in tears, nervous, just all the feelings, right? Trying to get in on Tuesday. I'm probably just going to do a half marathon. Like I'm not going to do a challenge because I need to take a year off from Dopey. I've done it like 6 or 7 times. I don't know. Like I need a break from Dopey. So gonna try for the half and then then I'll be doing the challenge Disneyland. So I feel like if I'm going for one race like that, it shouldn't be too bad, but you never know, Mike.
No, you should not say that out loud. You should not say that out loud.
But like I think most people are going for the challenges,
they are.
Like the goofier the Dopey. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
The full's always the last one to go, just in case you need a race to run.
I mean, if it came down to it, that's still coast to coast eligible, so I could do that.
I know. I'm just saying that.
That's how I registered for my first full in 2016 because like I was registered for Princess. That was gonna be like my first like half marathon, and then like it was you and Jocelyn in particular was like, man, you should do the full because like Jocelyn signed up for it, and this was like in September, like just like a few months before the race, and I was easily able to register. Isn't that nuts to think about?
And God, my knees were still, and they still worked back then in 2016. rip my knees. now I'm just worried about getting back upstairs after this live show to get to bed.
See, I had to go upstairs to do the live show, so now I get to go down. That'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, I gotta go back up, but I'm done. Oh my gosh! But good luck to everybody signing up for the races. Seriously, I hope you get what you want. That's going to be exciting. Also, this weekend coming up is Springtime Surprise. So we have the 5, the 10, and the 10 miler coming up. Weather looks to be decent, knock on wood, and should be a fun weekend. I hope to see everybody down there. I should be there, and medals look great. Everything looks like it'll be fun, and I like that this is a very casual Run Disney weekend. It's probably the most casual of all of them. Wouldn't you? I know you're not running this one, but this one seems the most laid back of all. Princess probably just as much, but probably even this one a little bit more so. Just real chill.
Yeah, it's pretty laid back. It's a weekend that doesn't know what its identity though is.
No,
right?
It has no idea.
Because we used to have, we used to have the 4 weekends because we had the Tower of Terror, but then they got rid of Tower of Terror. Then they kind of brought in Star Wars is kind of how it worked. And Star Wars had a good run, like 4 years, maybe it got to 5. Like I don't even know. But
is that a good run? It's a run.
It's it's better than the Tower of Terror run, I guess. But
that's true. I'll give you that.
But then they snuck in the Spring Surprise, and I will say this: like I was so psyched for Springtime Surprise last year because it brought back like some old classics. It brought back the Tower of Terror 10 miler. Granted, it was in the morning. I mean, it still had that nighttime feel because it was so dark out. But we had the Expedition Everest 5K, which was like my first ever Run Disney race. Like, so that was so cool. So like that's what like really got me into it last year. And then this year it's just like, we're just gonna do Pixar. Like I don't know. Like it's still a cool theme, right? Because the Pixar movies are great, the medals are great.
Medals because I like because these are some of the characters I like. So, but yeah, it's not. Yeah.
But it just like it didn't. I thought that was always gonna be like the theme was gonna be like we're gonna bring back a retro race. Maybe we're gonna do a night race. Right. Granted, like we got. I mean, I knew it had no chance because last year the 5K was delayed and then like shortened due to weather. So like anytime there's a night race, there's just awful luck, which is really unfortunate. So it doesn't surprise me that they went back to the, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all early morning model. But I would love to see them like switch it up, some more to make it fun because it's a surprise, right? It's a surprise, but
not a huge surprise this time, but
not this time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to get the medal.
It'll still be fun, yeah. And I know we got some people it's going to be their first Run Disney race that they're doing that weekend. So shout out to all of you. I won't be there, but I'll be rooting you from home here in East Lansing. I might even wear some of my Springtime Surprise shirts from last year next weekend. Just have a great race. I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait to see you blowing up social media with all those medals.
I agree. Yep. Last year we had Race for the Taste. That race hadn't been run in ages. That was the 10K.
So good. That was so good.
I know. So good. Anyway, so we got that. And one last story, just real quick. Disney Cruise Line did get into an agreement with a company in Asia that they are going to officially sail for at least 5 years out of Asia with that new gigantic ship that they bought for next to nothing during COVID. A gigantic. The one thing I wanted about that story, here's what when I found that story that just blew me away, was how many people they're projecting on this ship. It is going to sail with 6,000 passengers and a crew of 2,300. Can you imagine that? That's like a third more than the Fantasy and the Dream, because I think they sailed around 4,000. Like
nuts
capacity.
I'm gonna want to sail on that though. That's gonna
I
be
do
awesome.
too. I do too. I like big ships, but that is massive. That's crazy. And it's going to be fueled by green methanol, one of the lowest emission fuels available.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that is cool that they're going green, and they're going to. That's really what I like about this whole idea, is that that's going to be kind of like this ship is going to be such an outlier because they didn't build it from scratch. They can really use this as a test bed. They're a lot. I think if I'm Disney, I can try some kind of crazy stuff and just say, well, it's in a different market. It's in an emerging market for us. And it's a ship that we bought that, was going to go to scrap anyway. Let's try some crazy stuff. And if it doesn't work, we can just say that, hey, we're just trying it out. Take some chances with the ship.
I think this is going to work though. I think it's going to be pretty darn successful. I mean, that's the Disney guy in me hoping, but I really believe in it. That's going to be awesome.
I do too. All right, let's open up the phone lines. Let's add a third voice to the conversation and many more at 407 413 9395 407 413 9395. The phone computer for some reason did not charge this week, but I got it charged up enough to get through the show tonight, I think. So get your call in before the phone computer takes the day off. So I think we're going to be good for the hour though. So again, give us a call at 407 413 9395. But until then, what else has been like in the Disney community, Disney universe has been on your mind? What are you thinking about lately?
So I've been thinking about cruising a lot because we have that awesome cruise coming through at the start of July for the podcast, which we haven't done one of those in 4 years, Mike. Oh, we got a call.
We do got a call, and I forgot to mute the phone, the computer, but there you go. So it told us it's time to take our first call. Hey, who's joining us? But we'll talk about the podcast cruise. What's up?
Hi. This is Jenna from Seattle.
Hey, Jenna. Speaking of podcast cruisers, you are one of us.
And speaking of first-time run Disney racers, too.
Absolutely. Hang on. You get 2 bells. There you go. How's Seattle tonight?
I got the bell. Good. Happy Easter.
Hey, happy Easter to you and the family.
Yeah. Oh, I listened, Mike, to your episode on Friday about how much you guys love Disneyland, and you're all making me nervous for our family to go to Walt Disney World for the first time because you're like, Disneyland has such a nicer vibe and the people are nicer. And I was like, oh no, Walt Disney World's going to be huge and mean.
It is.
Oh, there's nothing to worry about.
Everybody down there just wants to punch you in the nose. It's so mean. No, just kidding. No, you know what? Walt Disney World doesn't have Rancho del Zocalo, so forget the place. No, just kidding. But I do love that restaurant. It's pretty awesome. No, seriously, they are. I want to hear your thoughts because they are 2 absolutely different vibes. But what it is for me, and I think Scott knows this because he's been to Disneyland more than me, is that Disneyland is the new hotness for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like it because, like, dude, I was talking about this today at Easter. We had like 22 people at my house. Like my whole wife's family was here. And my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are taking my nephew, who's 6, to Disneyland next month. We've never been out there. And I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, you gotta row the canoe. He's like, what are you talking about? Row a canoe. I'm like, there's the river that has that big boat in it. You can actually get in that same river that same boat goes in, and the boat goes past you, and you can row a canoe with like 20 other people. He's like, shut up. I'm like, I did it, and you can too. But I mean, it's so weird. Like, there's so many things like these cinnamon chips. Like, they're so dumb that I like those as my favorite snack. But it's just it's so homey there. But Walt Disney World is just, you'll walk in and there's so much to do. The scale, the beauty. The transportation is a part of the experience. Scott, back me up for Jenna real quick, and then we'll let Jenna talk. Yeah. But I mean, she's gonna have an awesome time.
I mean, yeah. So you're hitting a lot of my things there, Mike. So for me, for Disneyland, it feels more like vacation because I don't go there as often. I try to go there like once a year, or I go to Walt Disney World maybe like 2 to 3 times a year, maybe, and I'm very lucky for that. But Walt Disney World, like, just on the scale though, like, you have like all the water, like. There's like no water, I feel like, at Disneyland, where you have like, Crescent Lake, Seven Seas Lagoon, all these like big bodies of water. Like Epcot is like its own unique thing. Like World Showcase is like my favorite land of any Disneyland that there is. And then just like all the transportation, the resorts are a big thing. Like, I love going to like all the like different, like, what are there, like 20 some different resorts nowadays where you only have Yeah, where you only have the 3 at Disneyland. So I think like the scope and the scale is what really draws like Walt Disney World to me. Like you still have the same number of attractions, like from the 4 parks versus the 2. So it's like everything is like compressed more at Disneyland, but like the space and like how it is at Walt Disney World like makes it really awesome and unique too. And that, we're not knocking it by any means, Jen. It's just like Mike said, it's fresh to him, so he's gonna just think it's the greatest thing in the world. But you all are gonna have an amazing time at Walt Disney World. Trust me.
Oh, great. Well, we're very excited. I do have a question about just like the logistics of the size. I was thinking about the buses for Springtime Surprise Weekend, and I know the different resorts have like multiple buildings. So how do you know where to get your bus? Is that a dumb question? How do you know where to go?
You're staying at Pop, right?
Yeah.
There's only one place to catch the bus. That's the good news. You just go out front. Look for all the people. Let me just tell you. So I'll be there on Friday for the 5K. I'm staying at Pop as well, and I'll be in my hot dog costume. And so just look for a 6'3" hot dog walking around and just get in line behind me.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be great. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh boy.
No, seriously, like you get in line for the buses, the same spots where you get in line for the buses to go to the theme parks. You'll see them, because here's the thing about Pop Century, Scott. I think you stayed at Pop for race weekends recently, but they stack the buses for these race weekends. You'll see about 10 motor coaches out in front of Pop Century, and they're just lined up. There's a lady there, or a gentleman, but this lady seems to always be at Pop Century with like these glow shoes and these like glow sticks that she's high energy. She's getting people on the bus. She was there marathon. She was there Princess, and getting everybody on the bus, giving everybody a high five, getting everybody pumped up. Dude, it's 3:00 in the morning. I don't need to be pumped up yet, but she does. I mean, give her credit. Like us, we'll go back to sleep when I sit down that bus, but okay. But I mean, they're getting people in, and boom, it's Pop Century is awesome for transportation. Just go to the front.
And Jen, as Mike mentioned, there's just the one spot, and at Pop, I think over a race weekend, probably 60 to 65% it feels like are doing these races. At Pop.
That place is empty at 7:00 in the morning.
You walk out your room. You get to the main level and just follow the people, because there's going to be groups of people just walking in a certain direction, and just follow them, and they'll take you right to where the buses are.
Oh, that's so great.
Oh yeah,
great.
People
we're
everywhere.
So excited. So thank you.
Yeah, it's crazy. 3:00 in the morning, there'll be people walking everywhere in costumes and eating and drinking and skipping, and it's the weirdest thing. And plus, you're from the West Coast, so that'll be like, I mean, that'll be like the middle of the night for you, like midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal.
Oh man. That's wild. So what are you looking forward to, though, about, because you're going to be down this week? Like, what's one thing, being a West Coaster, that you're super looking forward to?
Oh, I think Epcot and Animal Kingdom, because we don't have anything like them. So I'm really excited for that, to see what those are like.
What attraction do you think? Like, you're a Disney fan. You have Disneyland and all that stuff, but what out here?
I mean, At Animal Kingdom, I'm excited just to see the Tree of Life. I don't know if that even counts, but I remember as a kid when they were building it, and we went once when I was 8 years old to Walt Disney World, and it was still under construction, the whole park. So I remembered reading about it, but never seeing it. So I want to see the Tree of Life. And then I think in Epcot, I'm so boring. I just want to see the World Showcase. Also, not really an attraction, but those are just so unique to Walt Disney World. I think that's what I'm excited about.
That's not a boring answer at all, because like I said earlier, it's the best area of Walt Disney World, if you ask me. But hopefully you'll be there at night, because the World Showcase does have a vibe at night. Now it does get a little busier, because that's where everyone goes to at night, is World Showcase. But most importantly, just go to France at night and watch the greatest attraction in Walt Disney World, which is Impressions de France. If you could do that for me, that'd be fantastic.
Impressions de France. I was going to rope drop it.
Or you could do that. That's right, because it's like the first show of the day.
It's a worthy rope drop attraction, let me just say.
Okay. Well, thanks, folks. I'll let the next person get there, but excited, Mike, to see you at the race.
No problem. So when you have a great Easter. When are you headed out? You headed out Thursday?
I think Thursday morning.
All righty. I'll see you out there. Hopefully I'll see you at the expo, and we'll see you at all the races. It'll be fun.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.
Safe travels. Talk to you later, Jen. Bye-bye. How exciting is that though? Like you just don't hear that very often because of our audience. Like everybody's been so many times, which is awesome. But like she's out in Seattle, Disneyland veteran. I mean, she's got a lot going.
I
She's
love
gonna
the
be
fact
down
she's
for
excited for the Tree of Life too, because I am like so pro Animal Kingdom, and the fact that she's excited for that. I should have told her to try to see that at night too, because I love seeing the Tree of Life lit up at night too.
I agree. That's super cool. All right, 407-413-9395. 407-413-9395. Yeah, I would think of somebody who's a Disneyland fan. I'm just trying to put myself in that like perspective because I'm so new to Disneyland, but like I would have to just go around and just like do the Skyliner, and I'd have to take the boat from the Magic Kingdom launch over to Wilderness Lodge or something. Like,
yeah,
for
the
me,
monorail to Epcot would be something I would have to do.
Right. I mean, because the monorail at Disneyland is an attraction, but the monorail, what's better? Let me ask you this: what's better, the monorail ride at Disneyland or the monorail ride from, say, the TTC to Epcot?
So the monorail ride from TTC to Epcot is up there with Impressions de France for me. That is like one of the best things.
That's a hot take.
Listen, when you go through into Future World or whatever the neighborhoods are now, like I just love that. Like, and I miss that old narration. To your left is Test Track. Like
I do.
It's so good. Like I just love that ride. So I would actually pick that, even though there's something about Disneyland's too when you're coming around the Matterhorn, you can see it's a small world. Like you see the Speedway. There's something so magical about. I can't pick, Mike. They're just great in their own way. That's
what I was gonna say, because I too love that ride from the TTC to Epcot because of that little preview, and I love how they placed it right. It's not like as you're leaving Epcot, it's a preview. Like you go through Epcot before they drop you off, so you are going to Epcot, but you have to see it before it
helps you plan a little bit too. Like, oh my God, look at Test Track is like out the door. Like we're going to World Showcase instead.
Totally. You're like, okay, kids, we're not going on Test Track today. Exactly. Just like
it is so cool though, right? I mean, it's just a cool perspective. Then you like when you're passing through America, like you could just like have that dead on look, in the World Showcase, and then you go by the seas. I don't know. It's something like so classic Epcot to me, because when you think about it, that's something that monorail track hasn't changed, right? So that's just always been the same since 1982, doing that ride. So, which I think is super cool.
Right. It's cool to find that stuff that's been there since X year, right? That's kind of
that's why Impressions de France should never go away and should never be updated in any kind of capacity. It's so good.
I always want to know, is that couple still with us at the end that's holding their hand walking on the beach? Probably not. But
probably not that couple, but the couple that got married might be.
Maybe. I hope. And I hope they're happily married listening to our podcast tonight in French, even though we don't speak French. Okay, 407-413-9395. We need your calls. Give us a call, 407-413-9395. Let me ask you about that, though. We saw the Journey of Water preview. Disney Parks blog teased that this week. So what did you think of that brief video?
I'm excited. I actually did not see the video, Mike. I finally watched their Disney 100 video, though. And that was
what'd you think of that? Was I right? That thing's pretty powerful.
That was really good. I was actually watching it at lunch with Elizabeth and a couple coworkers, and I said, "Excuse me, guys, I'm about to watch this 90-second video, and if I start crying, like, just don't judge me."
That's a good call.
Yeah. No, that was good. I haven't seen the water one, but I am excited about that. I feel like that's gotten a lot of heat. People are like, "Oh, that's not a real attraction. Like, this isn't gonna bring guest satisfaction." But I think it's gonna be super cool, and it's also gonna mean that construction is done, which I just want my normal like Future World back, like without the construction walls. But I'm excited for it. But I tend to be excited for most new Walt Disney World attractions.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so here's the thing: like social media can just be a vicious place, and they put out a video, and it showed. It's called, the Journey of Water, right? And it's supposed to teach us about the water cycle and how that affects our environment and so forth. I mean, it's educational, which I love that about Epcot. Like they've moved away from that in the last decade, at least, I would say. Test Track's not super educational, and Guardians of the Galaxy, not educational. But I mean, you got to have a mix, right? I mean, you don't want to have your park empty because people don't want to be educated, but you can have some stuff. And I think that this is not going to be an e-ticket. Everything doesn't need to be an e-ticket. That's why I like Ratatouille. I think it's a good like D-ticket. Everybody can ride it. It's an let me take that back. I think it's an e-ticket ride because of its quality and experience. but it doesn't like throw you upside down to where everybody can still ride it. So I like it's an e-ticket that everybody can ride. It's not
I would like to see more dark rides. I'd rather have had like a dark Tron ride as opposed to like a roller coaster that's 90 seconds. You know what I mean? But that's just me.
Yeah. Wade's calling in here, so let's get him to jump in on this conversation. Wade, hey, what's going on? Happy Easter to you guys up in Nebraska.
Hey guys, happy Easter. Yeah, I just finished having some pulled pork that I made on the big green egg today, which took about 7 hours. So it was a good Easter meal this evening.
Hey, let's see. It's 9.5 hours to Lincoln. Let me be there by the morning.
you could have started when I made it and been here right when it was finished.
I could have, and I'll get a runs on the way out, and it'll be a good trip.
Hey, exactly. That'll be about the same amount of time I spent in Chicago. So there you
go. So what's going on? What do you add to the conversation? Any of the things we've talked about, or anything you want to throw out onto the table? What you got? So you're getting your AP at least.
Well, yeah, APs came back. I mean, and of course now, I started thinking, well, geez, if I get an AP, does that mean I attempt to sign up, for a race in January? Because I was pretty set against not doing a race in January because I'm like, I don't have an AP. I can sit it out. I'm signed up for Wine and Dine challenge. And now I'm like, well, geez, of course, then it's the same week, right? Mm-hmm. Tuesday, and as a DVC owner, Thursday for annual passes. I may have to call Chase Visa and ask for an extension.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. That's a rough 48 hours right there for people that are doing Dopey. Oh, man.
Not only that, which one will take longer in the queue, Dopey or to get the AP? I may have to take 2 days off of work as well.
Here's a hypothetical. What happens if you're still in the queue for Dopey? No, wait. Yeah, when the thing opens on the 13th. I mean, what if you have to be in two simultaneous queues? Because
all I can say is just please be patient.
Yeah, please don't move.
Spinning blue circle. Don't move my phone. Yeah. Don't move anything. Just sit there and watch.
Don't anybody come in this room. Don't move. Don't touch the light switch.
It'd be quicker if you just like got to call in or something. Like, I don't know, like if they open like the hotlines or something.
Yeah,
could you imagine if you had to call in for Run Disney registration?
Yeah. Like the 106th caller gets an AP. Let's go. You're caller number 3. Sorry. You're caller number 4.
Answer these 3 trivia questions and you get your registration.
Oops. You didn't answer right. Try again. Exactly. You dialing again.
Try next year.
Anyway. I tell you what, no, it's, I hate that it's so early that you have to sign up for these races. I understand there's a lot of lead time on it, but I even put in like my little countdown, Wine and Dine, 200 and whatever days it is. This is going to be like, even further out, of course, 300 some days till Dopey or till marathon weekend. But of course, my credit card gets run that afternoon that you get in, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So it could be a big week. It's going to be a big week, I think, for a lot of people, because I know there's a lot of other, not just DVC owners like myself, but others that didn't have an annual pass or they let it lapse like I did. And of course, now it's gone up $300 too from 2020, which is another thing, right? But and for Run Disney, for the Lizards that are runners as well too, it's there's going to be a lot of money changing hands or at least debits on the credit card.
Especially if you're on the BR Guest Podcast Cruise where you just hit the 90-day like payment mark. It's brutal right now.
Right. I didn't even think about that because April 4th was the final payment date for the podcast cruise, which I mean, we put the podcast cruise together 2 years ago. Who'd have known that all this was going to happen this week? But oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Oh yeah, you're right. People are going to need to be calling Chase.
It's a brutal month.
This is not good. Yeah. Here's what some of my guests have told me though. They're like, think of the rewards points. I'm like, here's the deal. I always use my rewards points for my renewal for my annual pass, and it usually covers my renewal, which is like a good thing and a terrible thing. It's great because I don't put out any additional money for my annual pass, like, moving forward, because I only have to buy one. I'm not like Scott. I don't buy them for my girls. They're just on their own. I buy them passes when they go once a year, and that stinks. But it's also terrible because I think about how much money I've had to spend on that card. To be able to do that, it's horrible. But
You're right. No, you are right. I tell you, you're absolutely right. I am really glad that annual passes came back for those that want to purchase. I am curious though, because in that fine print it says, and I know it happened at Disneyland. There's a limited supply of annual passes, and they cut it off at Disneyland. I think people had 12-hour waits when they sold what were they called, the golden key passes,
magic key, I think
magic key, right? So it will be interesting to see. I don't know if there's a finite supply for DVC, just like there are early race signups, which never seemed to work for me anyway. I never got in on the early DVC signup. Always had to do it on the regular signup. So if I get in the queue on Thursday and then it times out and then it says try again in a week, I guess that could happen. I'm guessing that probably will happen too. Maybe myself, but others as well too.
See, I'm curious about this because the price for every ticket is $1,400, and we saw that happen at Disneyland. But at Disneyland, I was always told, and I mean, I know this is true, that it's a locals park, right? So I think more people are going to tend to have, an annual pass or a seasonal pass or something like that because they want to just drop in. Where right now we're speaking to the Uber fans. Everybody listening to this show wants an annual pass. And there's a lot of us. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a lot of folks that want these annual passes, and Disney's going to want to sell obviously as many as they can if they can get $1,400 out of every one of these things. But again, if they're going to have theme park reservations, which they stated in the press release, they are going to continue to have. Now they did say, I don't know if you saw this, Wade, this is good news for DVC people, is that they will offer DVC annual passes throughout the year, even when capacity is capped for DVC owners only. That was like a fine line, which I thought was cool because I think that's your compromise of what we've been talking about over the last year is that even if that sorcerer pass is sold out, maybe they're going to still allow DVC members to buy it, even when the general public can't.
Well,
that would be good.
I'm a little biased because I've been a DVC owner since 2005, and I know it was never in the print that, you're entitled to, certainly not a free pass like Scott said earlier, which would be nice. But I know it was discussed somewhere, somehow that, hey, annual passes, you get a deal on those. And, oh, cool. Okay. And so then when it's been 3 years and there has not been available, but I can say my dues keep coming out every month. There are restrictions on how you can use your points, which I understand, because of the pandemic where there was a pause and points started piling up. I get that. I totally understand all that. But it was just a bit frustrating because you've got, it's not just you have a couple $100 in a DVC ownership. It's thousands of dollars that you put in initially. And then, you pay your dues each month, or you pay them annually, depending how you do it. I pay them monthly because there's no interest charge. It just debits out of my account. Oh, by the way, and it goes up every year too, which is fine. I get all that, but to not have annual passes was really a kick in the shins, I think, to DVC owners. It's a small percentage of the guests that go. Honestly, when you look at it, at the available number of rooms, to not do that was really unfortunate. But I'm glad it's coming back.
Another interesting thing too, it's not actually for all DVC members either. So there's like this cutoff for like if you're like a blue card member where like certain benefits like stopped at a certain point, especially for those that bought resale. So that makes it even more limited too, right? For who can actually buy these. And it's really confusing sometimes. Like when I went to renew mine, they put me on hold for 10 minutes because they weren't sure if I was like a grandfather DVC member, which is kind of frustrating. Because they were going to tell me that I could not renew my pass because of that. So I'm just throwing that out there. Like, I think most DVC members know their status, but it is for specialty status DVC members, which is kind of silly when you think about it too.
Yeah, I think it was 2016 or so they put that into effect where you had to have had you bought resale. And I have two contracts, one resale, the initial one, 2005, and then a direct from Disney later on. But it was you had to either buy after 2000, I think it's 16, have to buy direct from Disney. And I think it's now 100 points minimum. It had gone up, but I think it came back down.
Yeah, it was 150. They just changed it this week. They just changed it this week to 100.
Which is interesting, which could be a little bit like, oh, interesting. They, I think purchases have seemed to lag a little bit from some of the, listen to a couple of DVC podcasts, and they're talking about that, how it's more of a bit more of a buyer's market right now, but still, it's a lot of money to get in. Yeah, you have to be a blue card holder, a quote unquote blue card holder, to be able to get the Moonlight Magic benefits and like you said, to get the annual pass. So it's a small percentage. So the fact they didn't do it, I don't know if that was the best move on Disney. I understand the limiting capacity and all that, but it is nice that it's coming back. And now everybody's got decisions to make, because I look at it as, the reduced price DVC, which is nice. I think it's $965. So you got to go about 10 days, right? 10 days in the park. So it's a couple trips. Will I do that? With races and all that, probably makes most sense. So we'll see. I've got to figure that out. I've got 4 days.
That's one of those things, like the pressure's on. You just got to keep like running the numbers constantly until that day. And then but again, it's like that race thing where when the day hits, it's like, you feel like it's now or never. That's my biggest thing about the Run Disney races. I wish I had time for a couple months. Like you said, it's so early. Like, I don't want to commit. Yeah. I've already committed to Dopey. I don't know how I'm going to feel next January. Like, I'm getting towards the end of my full marathon, like running. I faced that. Like, my knees are shot. Like, I just don't feel like feeling so tore up with marathon training anymore. But, this would be number 10. That's a good round number. I'll be 50. It's a good round number. So, and I want to go to Disneyland. So, I'm signed up for Disneyland. Thanks to Scott. Scott got me in the 10K when I was out there, when he got in. So this is going to be like epic, right? I mean, this is going to be, if there was ever a time to kind of do a big blowout time, this is it. Dopey. And then the next weekend, go out to Disneyland and do a 10.5. But it's one of those things like, with Disney, it's always like the pressure of, you got to do it now or never. Back at 10 years ago, you had time to contemplate and be like, okay, I'll think about it. I might do it. I might not.
You can't, because it'll be gone. It'll be sold out.
Everything's like that. It feels like, the Halloween party sometimes feels like that. You want to go on
I was about to say the Moonlight Magics, like they're sold out instantly.
The demand is just insane on everything. I think it's because of I'm not saying our show. It's because of social media and that everybody's hyper aware of everything. And, I just think everybody's more connected now than ever. Used to people just weren't in the know as much, 15 years ago, or maybe the demand's higher.
True.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's true. I think there is it's very easy to be aware. It's very easy to know what's happening. When annual passes went on sale, I think I got a text from, a friend of ours and listener to the show, Beth Johnson, texted me, said, "Oh, annual passes are back." And then of course I started scrolling through social media. It was every single, Disney site was announcing it, right? And the dates and click here for the information on the prices. If you would have missed it that day, it's because you didn't turn your phone on. But yeah, so I think there's a lot of demand. They are signing up earlier and earlier. Races sell out more. It is hard for January. I'm like, it's barely April, and I got to figure out if I can run a full marathon, a half marathon, and 10K, whatever, January 10th.
I know. Seriously,
that's a whole summer, fall, and winter.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot that can happen. It's a commitment, and the thing is, that's a huge commitment. Unless you've run, a half marathon or a full marathon, that's a big deal. And for a lot of us, especially us three, Nebraska, Missouri, Michigan, it's a terrible time to train for a full marathon. Like, you're talking like the teeth of when it's starting to get just nasty in November and December. It sucks to train for a marathon that time of year. Ugh.
But I like it this year because this is the year.
Yeah, saying, okay, this is my last training run. Man, I'm freezing. I can't feel my face.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like right at Christmas. Everybody else is at Christmas shopping. You're out getting frostbite for 22 miles. It's brutal.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead. What did you say?
I was just going to say, but I like it this year because this is a year where it lands on the calendar that my daughter is out of school one of those weeks for break. So it's easy to bring her down. Like, you can do New Year's in the parks because I haven't done that in like 5 or 6 years. So like, I'm kind of kicking around the idea that I want to do it because we can come down for New Year's and then boom, just do the race. And she doesn't even miss a day of school. Sounds kind of nice.
But see, what about now? But see, Disneyland though, like how long are you going to be on vacation?
Yeah, I'd had to go back. I'd have to go back to work 2 or 3 days and make it back out to the West. It'd be outrageous. Because then that's Martin Luther King weekend, which Emily has a day off there too. Like it's, oh man.
I know, but you got to pay for hotel rooms and food and all that stuff for all those days.
So that's why I said the Wade. So I said the Wade when I got that Disneyland one because I texted him, but he was out skiing. So I don't know if that either helped him or hurt him. But I told him
I didn't get in, so yeah, either way.
Yeah. So I got a tweet, that tweet bot that tells you like the Disneyland races. And I told Wade that tweet cost me $5,000.
Oh yeah.
At least. Oh, dang it. Brutal. When you think about it that way, man, that is just brutal. If I would have been like out doing something, mowing the yard, like not paying attention, I'd have an extra $5,000.
Yeah. And so wait, yeah, he texts, he calls me. Okay. So I'm riding the Disneyland train. I'm just going to chill on the train. So I'm just going to chill. Don't even have my phone like in my hand or anything. It's in my pocket. I'm just taking it in like Walt, right? I'm on the sideways train too. Like that's the primo one. I'm sitting on the one that's sideways.
Oh yeah.
Like all kind of just zoned out. My phone rings. Scott. I'm like, oh, let's get my boy. I got to answer. Dude, I just got into Disneyland. You want me to get you in the 10K? I'm like, hang up and get me in, brother. so I hang up on him real fast. And so like when I'm sitting in the Toontown station and the Festival of the Lion King show or whatever that show is, that theater is like going on. And the whole time my heart's just beating out my chest, like, because I wanted that race so bad. I could care less about I know it's the challenge. I'm not going to get the challenge medal, but I'll get to run the 10K and the half. I'm like, oh, please let me get in. Please let me get in. So the whole time. And then he calls me back right before the diorama scene. He's like, I got you in. I was like, yeah. And I wanted to like scream on the train. I was so happy. But then I was like, I played it cool. I was like, thank you. That's awesome. The diorama section's coming up. This is why I came to the West Coast. I gotta go.
Yeah, I wanted you to stay on the line so I could hear it. I love that scene.
That's funny. That is funny. Well,
so Wade, I think we got to get you to Disneyland somehow now.
Yeah,
Wade.
I think so.
Well, you never know. We'll see.
You know what they should do? They should have DVC like discounted tickets for Disneyland. Maybe I should talk to our boys at the top about that.
If you're listening,
I think so. see what they say. But yeah, that would be nice. Hey, look, if we ran Disney, I'm sure there'd be some things we could change that would be beneficial for us at least.
You know what's funny though? You say that, but if us three ran Disney for a short amount of time, I think that we could still make that company super profitable, but also at the same time be super consumer friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like serve the fans, because I don't think those two things are like work against each other. I think they can be in harmony with each other. I think that by being consumer responsive and listening to your Uber fans as well as your casual fans, I think you can take your profits to another level, instead of being, I don't know. I just have this, maybe I'm, too optimistic about things, but I think you could be both, really embrace your fans and still be super profitable at the same time.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And I think there's still things that they can do. Again, we all love Disney. We wouldn't be sitting here on Sunday, Easter, evening talking about it, or Thursday night if you're listening on the feed, right? So I think that, even they talk about capacity and raising dollars and people are raising prices and people still buy. Well, the parks are not open as late as they used to be. And they could, I know staffing plays into that too, but there's things they could do to ease the congestion in the parks. I remember when, Extra Magic Hours went till 3 a.m. at the Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
And some of our most fun times were, we're jumping on, Space Mountain. It's 2:58 a.m.
Yeah, I agree.
We did it. We're exhausted. You go back to the hotel, then it's a sleep in or pool day the next day. That eases congestion in the parks. And I believe that maybe they'll get back to that. Maybe that's part of what they're, will work towards. I hope. But we'll see. Maybe Mr. Iger and others have that in mind, or the folks that run the park division. I hope so, because you don't just keep raising prices is one thing. The demand is still there. People will pay it, but spread it out, open an hour early, stay open late. those are great times, great memories that I have, and I'm sure you guys do too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, total. I remember
This
Paige.
is one thing.
Yeah, Paige was like 7, and like 1:00 in the morning, we'd buy her that big sugar stick and just let her keep eating it to keep her awake. I mean, terrible parenting, but some of the best memories ever. It was vacation. Totally.
Anyway, that's
Magic Kingdom. Vacation
So-
is Magic Kingdom at 2 a.m. It really is. And then there's just no atmosphere. That's why I like doing those after hour events, Mike, because
Yeah.
I know they cost like a fortune, but it takes us back to a time where you could be in the parks till like, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And it's just a really cool environment. Man, I wish I would come back.
I'm with you. All right,
Wade,
we
you got us all fired up now.
Yeah, we're ready, man. But hey, good luck to and God bless the credit card this week if you make the call and give it a little 48-hour pressure there this week. So we'll see.
I'll keep you guys posted.
All right,
See
we'll
how it goes.
take care, Wade. Tell everybody we said Happy Easter.
All right, thanks. Same to you guys. Take
See
care.
you
Talk
later.
to you later.
Bye. Well, good show, Scott. Lots of fun. And that was a great I love talking to Wade because he's smart. Like he knows his stuff and he's just, he comes at it from a business perspective as you do, which I'm not a business person. I appreciate you too, because you kind of see it from a different perspective.
Yeah. No, Wade's always got some good insight. And yeah, like you were saying, like there's ways we can make it profitable for sure. And then you just got to think about your guests. Like you want return guests and you just want to make them happy. And I think a lot of guests are happy, but there's some things that are missing that we could fix for sure. And man, I wish we had control of that for like 6 months, man. That'd be so awesome.
Dude, just give it to us for a little bit. Yeah, just like honorary CEOs.
We won't even take a profit in it. Maybe a little. Maybe we'll take a little off the top, a consulting fee.
Just a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they came back with 3 a.m. extra magic hours in the evening? Dude, those were the best. Like just for the summer, from like May to August, end of August.
And to what Wade's saying, yeah, because those people are going to spend the next day at the pool or sleep in, which is going to make the crowds a little less busier, like that next morning or early afternoon. It makes sense. And then you're going to have a higher guest satisfaction, which is something that you really want to go in with those extraordinary profits that they would still be getting.
Heck yeah.
Because people are going to be buying food, like you're paying cast members. And that's the thing with rides too. Like attractions do need time to rest, right? Like you just can't have an attraction running all the time. So maybe like you're up front, like, hey, like this attraction is not going to be available this extra magic hour. Like you have that like in the schedule so people can plan a little bit better so that not all rides are running all the time. But I don't want to go on that tangent, but you know what I mean? And it would be so good. Doesn't cost them much.
Sign me up. It's simple. Anyway, we make things happen. So who knows? Maybe by next week we'll have 3 a.m. extra magic hours. Let's hope.
All
right,
we'll see.
We are going to have some great shows for you this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We've got a great trip report. It's actually a Disneyland trip report tomorrow for Monday. For folks listening live here on Facebook and YouTube, you're going to enjoy that one. A VIP tour out at Disneyland, staying at the Grand Californian Hotel, club level. For his first Disneyland vacation, by the way, he was surprised with this vacation for Father's Day. It was his Father's Day present. I'm telling you, man. So, and I strategically put this show out right now in early April because all the wives
you want a Father's Day present, Mike.
All of us that are dads, like this would be a great Father's Day 2023 present for any of us. Like if you want to surprise any of us with a Disneyland trip, hey, you got time. I'm just saying it came around at just the right time for anybody that wants to surprise.
I think I have plans. So I think I'm going to Toronto. I think I'm going to Toronto for Father's Day, but I'm willing to switch gears, So I might have to have Elizabeth listen to this episode.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet, man. I was like, that was your first trip. You stayed club level at the Grand Californian, and you had a VIP tour.
It's
not bad.
It's the veranda experience on cruise line. This guy will not be able to experience Disneyland ever again the same way.
That's Monday. Wednesday we'll have listener questions. Friday we'll have a topic show. And of course, if you see me down at Disneyland, or I'm not at Disneyland this weekend, I'm at Walt Disney World for springtime surprise. Please say hello. Let's get a selfie. Let's have some fun and run some races. Our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out this week for all your Disney trip planning needs. The agents are standing by right now to help you plan that trip over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you very much to our patrons who support us each and every week and every month. And you guys make these shows possible. Our patrons get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. If you'd like to join us, we'd sure love to have you. Come on over. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Give this guy a follow on the social media at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. We'd love to talk to you this week. And of course, no live show next Sunday because I'll still be in the air on the way back to St. Louis from Springtime Surprise. But we'll do one 2 weeks from this Sunday. All right, time to get out of here. And I hope you enjoyed the shows this week. As always, thanks for joining us and happy Easter, everybody. Hope you had a great one with your friends and family. So for Scott, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Sunday night or a great Thursday here on the feed. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All righty.
I'm sending you and Wade a photo of me and my Chicago ice cream hot dog.
You think has encouraged theme parks, not just isn't its focus on long lines. People seem much more. That could be true. Like people have distractions with their phones and stuff. Maybe. But I still, I hate lines. Oh, I gotta see this hot. Oh man. Hang on.
Elizabeth has a better one. I'll get that one from her.
Well, the white is ice cream and all the rest of that stuff's real.
Well, yeah, the white is a hot dog flavored ice cream. So that ice cream on its own tastes like a hot dog.
Ugh, and that's real mustard.
That's
So
real
what's in
mustard. So it's like the normal Chicago bun. It's just pink.
Oh God, that's gross. So what are they? They're eating a Dole Whip basically then.
Yeah, they're basically eating a Dole Whip. Yeah.
So they want, yeah, that does not look good. I mean, it looks okay, but I bet you that thing tastes horrid.
It was different. It was different.
Yeah, wait, we're gonna get it done. We got it.
I'm gonna send you one of Paige going down the slide to the sprinkle pool. It was fun. I'll send you some more. I'll make a post. I'll make a post because it was a riot, man. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, just text me when you do, and I'll check it out.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys. Live shows tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Bye.